They thought Antarctica was just ice. But buried beneath the thick, silent frost were secrets no one was ready to uncover. In 2006, a group of scientists drilled through ancient layers of ice searching for climate data. What they found instead was a metallic object, shaped like a disc, lodged hundreds of feet below the surface. It didn't belong to any civilization we know, and it was thousands of years old. A year later, in a hidden part of East Antarctica, a research team stumbled upon a perfectly preserved human hand. Only this hand was nearly twice the size of an average man's, and the DNA untraceable, not animal, not human, not explainable. Then came the blood lake, a crimson-red waterfall pouring from a glacier's side, no known source. No oxygen below, and yet life thrived there. Bacteria that should have died millions of years ago were alive and watching. Antarctica has no native people, no cities, no history written in books. Yet, when radar scans began to show symmetrical structures buried under the ice shaped like pyramids, some started to question if Antarctica once held a forgotten civilization, one that vanished before humans ever walked the Earth. Military bases now surround some of these zones. Access is restricted. Satellite images have been blurred. Whistleblowers claim governments are hiding alien craft, secret Nazi bunkers, even ancient maps that rewrite everything we know about Earth's past. It's not just conspiracy, it's the undeniable truth that Antarctica holds more questions than answers. Every layer of ice peels back a forgotten mystery. Every drill, every scan, every tremor brings us closer to something ancient, something powerful, something not meant to be awakened. This is the story of what the world was never supposed to see. This is Antarctica, the frozen vault of Earth's deepest secrets. Before we step into the icy unknown, make sure to subscribe to our channel, because what you're about to discover will chill your bones, awaken your curiosity, and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about this planet. Subscribe no end, let's uncover the truth. Together, Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and most mysterious place on Earth. It's not just a land of snow, it's a time capsule. A frozen library of forgotten worlds, buried civilizations, and strange, unexplained phenomena. In this documentary, we'll travel deep into the heart of Antarctica through real discoveries, whistleblower confessions, declassified files, and baffling scientific evidence. Some of these findings will inspire wonder, others will disturb you, but all of them ask the same chilling question: what is Antarctica hiding beneath its eternal ice? For most people, Antarctica means one thing: endless snow, bitter cold, and complete silence. A white frozen desert at the bottom of the world. But what if I told you, it wasn't always like this? Millions of years ago, long before the first human ever walked the Earth, Antarctica was not a frozen wasteland. It was green. It was alive. It was full of trees, rivers, animals, and possibly even creatures we've never seen before. Scientists have found fossilized tree stumps deep beneath the ice. Not just dead roots, but ancient forests with growth rings, bark, and signs of leaves. These trees once reached up to the sky, bathed in sunlight, thriving in a warm, lush climate. In 2017, a team of scientists discovered fossilized remains of a 280-million-year-old forest, buried beneath the ice of the Transantarctic Mountains. The wood was so well preserved that it still held the cell structures inside it. Some of the trees they found were evergreens, the kind that still grow in our forests today. These weren't just scattered trees, they were part of a full ecosystem, with soil, plants, and life. Just imagine that. The Antarctica we know today is silent and cold was once filled with birdsong, flowing rivers, buzzing insects, and swaying trees. The ground was soft and fertile. Life had carved its path into every inch. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But the fossils don't lie. They're like time machines, frozen snapshots of a forgotten world. Even more shocking, scientists believe some of this forest may have survived for centuries in total darkness during the winter months. The plants had adapted to extreme conditions. They weren't fragile, they were powerful survivors. And then, something happened. Climate shifted, temperatures dropped. The forests died. Ice took over, the green faded, and the white began. It's almost heartbreaking. A whole world, lost beneath miles of ice. And yet, still whispering through the fossils, still calling out from beneath the snow. Antarctica wasn't always dead. It was once vibrant, breathing, and alive. So the next time you see a photo of Antarctica, don't just see ice. See the ghost of a forest. See the roots that still sleep beneath the frost. Waiting, watching, remembering. In the heart of Antarctica, where the cold wind never stops and silence rules the land, strange shapes have begun to appear beneath the snow. Satellite images show something that shouldn't be. Their structure is too symmetrical, too perfect, to be natural. Triangular peaks, rising in exact angles, just like the ancient pyramids of Egypt. But these are not in a desert. They are hidden deep beneath miles of ice. The moment these images were released, the world held its breath. Could it really be? Could these be pyramids, built by some unknown civilization, long before Antarctica froze over? Or is this just another trick of nature, mountains that just happen to look man-made? Geologists argue that some natural formations, shaped by wind, time, and pressure, can form sharp and symmetrical structures. And yes, nature can surprise us, but these particular formations, some with equal sides and flat bases, look too precise, too engineered. That's what makes them so haunting. They seem to whisper, "We were built." If these are pyramids, it means something unimaginable. It means humans, or something like us, once lived in Antarctica before it became frozen. And not just lived but built, designed, measured, crafted. It would mean civilization is far older, far more advanced, and far more widespread than we've ever been told. Some scientists stay silent. Others avoid the topic completely. Military restrictions in those areas have only deepened the mystery. Why would anyone block access to a frozen mountain, unless there was something worth hiding? The idea of pyramids under Antarctica may sound like science fiction, but remember this. Once people laughed at the idea of Troy, they called it a myth until it was found, buried underground. History is full of forgotten truths waiting to be uncovered. Even now, the ice continues to melt. And as it does, more of these mysterious peaks are being revealed. They stand still, watching, untouched by time. Maybe they are mountains. Or maybe they are messages from a world long buried, structures left behind by those who came before us. Look at the shape, look at the angles. Ask yourself honestly, does nature make things this perfect? Or did someone leave them there, waiting to be found? In the middle of Antarctica's white, frozen silence, there is a place that looks like it's bleeding. High in the Taylor Glacier, a shocking stream of deep red water pours out of the ice. It stains the snow like fresh blood, thick, dark, and unsettling. When explorers first saw it over a century ago, they were terrified. They thought something had died beneath the glacier. Some even believed the earth itself was wounded, bleeding from inside. Today, we call it blood falls. And even though science now understands part of its mystery, the truth behind it is still stranger than anyone imagined. The red color doesn't come from blood, it comes from iron. The water beneath the glacier has been trapped for millions of years, sealed away from light, air, and time. Inside that ancient pocket, iron-rich water slowly oxidizes just like rust on metal, turning it red as it spills out into the world. But here's the part that truly shakes the soul. This blood-like water contains life. Yes, actual living organisms, tiny microbes that have survived without sunlight, without oxygen, in complete darkness, under crushing ice. These aren't ordinary life forms. They're survivors from a forgotten world. Their DNA is different. They've adapted to a place that should be impossible to live in. It's like a secret, hidden underground, quietly breathing in the dark. Scientists are still studying them, trying to understand how life can exist in such harsh conditions. Some believe that these tiny beings might hold the key to life beyond Earth. If creatures can live here, in this frozen, airless prison, then maybe life can exist on Mars, or beneath the icy oceans of Jupiter's moon, Europa. Blood falls might not just be an Antarctic mystery. It might be a message from the universe, showing us that life finds a way, even in the coldest places. And yet, standing there watching red water flow from a glacier feels like something more, like a warning, or a memory. A sign that the Earth holds stories we've never heard, and secrets it's still bleeding out slowly, one drop at a time. The glacier bleeds. The microbes survive, and the ice remembers. Beneath over 2 miles of solid Antarctic ice, hidden away from sunlight and time, lies one of the most mysterious places on Earth. It's called Lake Vostokhan for millions of years. No human eye had ever seen it. This is not an ordinary lake. It's one of the largest subglacial lakes in the world, stretching over 160 miles long. But what makes it so mysterious is that it has been completely sealed off from the surface for more than 15 million years. No air, no light, no contact with the outside world. It's a place frozen in time. When scientists first discovered it using radar in the 1990s, they were stunned. How could a lake survive under all that ice, without freezing solid? The answer was even stranger: heat from the Earth's core, and pressure from the ice above kept the water liquid. It was a self-contained world, locked away in silence for longer than modern humans have even existed. For years, researchers dreamed of reaching the lake. What kind of life might be hidden in those dark waters? Could ancient microbes still be alive? Could they be unlike anything we've seen before? Some even wondered, could there be larger organisms, creatures that evolved separately from the rest of Earth? Finally, in 2012, a Russian team drilled down into Lake Vostok. When they broke through the final layer of ice, they expected silence. Instead, they found something living. The samples collected from the lake showed traces of bacterium-like any known to science. Their genetic makeup didn't match any existing organisms on Earth. Some scientists warned the samples were contaminated. Others believed they had found something truly ancient, something that had evolved in complete isolation. It's both fascinating and frightening. This hidden lake could hold the answers to life's deepest questions, or release something we can't understand. Some have even raised concerns about waking up ancient bacteria that modern humans have no immunity to. What if something dangerous has been sleeping under that ice, waiting to be disturbed? But perhaps the real power of Lake Vostok is not fear, it's wonder. The idea that even in the most remote, unreachable places, life finds a way. That there are entire ecosystems buried under our feet, holding on to secrets we've barely begun to uncover. In the deep silence of Antarctica, Lake Vostok waits, a forgotten world beneath a frozen sky, still untouched, still unknown. Deep beneath Antarctica's ancient ice, where no sunlight ever reaches and temperatures fall to levels no human can survive, something cold and metallic was found. It was during a routine research mission meant to study climate history, when scientists stumbled upon a strange object buried deep below the surface. At first, they thought it might be a rock, maybe just an odd mineral deposit, but as they drilled closer and touched its surface, they realized it was metal, smooth, shaped, crafted. It didn't match anything known from nature. That's when the questions began. How did something metallic end up under miles of untouched ice? Who put it there? And when scientists were puzzled, the object seemed far too old to belong to any known human civilization, but it clearly wasn't random. Some said it looked like part of a machine. Others claimed it gave off small electromagnetic signals, as if it had once been powered. There were no clear answers on the mystery. Some researchers speculated it might be debris from an ancient meteorite, something from space that crashed into Earth and got buried over time. But others weren't so sure. The shape was too perfect. The edges too straight. It didn't seem broken, it seemed designed. Then, more discoveries followed. In different regions of Antarctica, other strange metallic objects were found: small disks, hollow tubes, perfectly round spheres, each buried in deep ice layers dated to be thousands, sometimes millions, of years old. None of them matched any modern tools, and none had any clear origin. These findings led to bold theories. Some believe they were remnants of a lost human civilization, one that existed before recorded history and vanished during some global catastrophe. Others think they could be alien artifacts, left behind by visitors from another world, either by accident or as a message. Governments have remained silent. Some regions where discoveries were made are now closed to the public. Even satellite images have been blurred. That silence more than anything raises suspicion. Why hide something if there's nothing to hide? Standing on the ice staring into the drill hole where a piece of metal once rested, it's impossible not to feel something stirred deep inside. Wonder, fear, curiosity. What lies beneath us? Who was here before? Are we really the first intelligent beings to explore this planet, or just the latest in a cycle we've forgotten? Antarctica doesn't speak, but sometimes it reveals just enough to make us question everything. Beneath Antarctica's silent sheets of ice, something enormous is sleeping. Over the years, as scientists dig deeper into the frozen ground, they've discovered something: keen bones. Not just small fossils or broken pieces, but giant, strange, and powerful bones that don't belong to any creature we know today. Some are larger than a human, with thick skulls and jaws wide enough to swallow a person whole. Others have limb bones that suggest creatures taller than giraffes once walked here. These aren't just dinosaur bones. They belong to species that science still can't fully explain. One set of remains was so strange that paleontologists argued for years about whether it was even real. The creature had massive teeth, unlike any found in other fossil records, and its body was built like a predator: fast, strong, and terrifying. What's even more haunting is where these bones were found, buried deep under layers of ice that haven't melted in millions of years. It means these creatures lived in Antarctica when it was warm, green, and alive. They hunted, they roamed, they ruled, and then, for reasons we still don't understand, they vanished. But not all the remains are ancient fossils. Some researchers claim to have found bones that seem recent, as if something large died not millions of years ago, but maybe hundreds. Some even say the bones still had traces of tissue, frozen in place, preserved by the cold. If that's true, it would mean something gigantic lived in Antarctica far more recently than we ever imagined. There are whispers from old military reports confirmed and mostly hidden that entire skeletons have been quietly removed from dig sites. Some of them, it's said, didn't match any animal in the global database. Eyewitnesses speak of claws longer than knives, skulls with multiple eye sockets, and wings like leather stretched over bone. Monsters, some called them, survivors of an ancient world. Could Antarctica be hiding the last remains of a species we never knew existed? Or could something still be alive beneath the ice? The bones tell us stories science hasn't yet accepted. Creatures that don't fit the rules. Evolution that followed a different path. Life that was too big, too strange, and too powerful to survive in our modern world. But the ice holds everything. And maybe it hasn't told us the whole story yet. Not all of Antarctica's secrets are ancient. Some are dark and disturbingly recent. During World War II, as chaos spread across Europe, whispers began to circulate. The Nazis were exploring Antarctica. At first it sounded like just another rumor. But then, reports confirmed that in 1938, the Germans had indeed sent a full expedition to the frozen continent. Their mission was strange, far from any battlefield, and, yet incredibly serious. They even dropped metal flags across a large area, claiming it as German territory. They called it Neuschwabenland. What were they looking for in the middle of nowhere? According to some, the Nazis were searching for ancient knowledge. Others say they were looking for secret energy sources, underground tunnels, or even entrances to hollow parts of the Earth. But one theory has shaken people for decades. They weren't just exploring, they were building something. Some believe that the Nazis constructed a secret base deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Hidden bunkers, advanced technology, maybe even experimental aircraft, far beyond anything the world had ever seen. These claims sound unbelievably until you learn what happened just a few years later. In 1946, right after the war ended, the United States launched Operation Highjump, one of the largest Antarctic missions in history. It included 13 ships, 4,700 men, aircraft, and military weapons. Officially, it was described as a research mission. But the scale, the force, it didn't feel like science. It felt like they were preparing for war. The mission was supposed to last 6 months, but after just 8 weeks, it ended suddenly. Ships returned, silence followed, and strange stories began to leak. Some claimed the fleet had encountered something powerful and unexpected. Aircraft were lost, equipment was damaged, and no one explained why they left so quickly. Over the years, declassified documents have hinted at something unusual happening during the mission. Unidentified flying objects, sudden radar interference, and unexplained injuries. Was it an enemy, a forgotten technology, or something else entirely? To this day, certain areas in Antarctica remain restricted no-entry zones, guarded by military agreements. If there's nothing down there, why keep it secret? The idea of a Nazi base beneath the ice might sound like fiction, but the fear in the faces of those who returned from Operation Highjump, that was real. And sometimes, fear says more than words ever could. For years, people believed aliens were just science fiction, strange stories made for movies and books. But behind locked doors and blacked-out reports, governments were quietly gathering something else. Evidence. In the United States, there's a hidden archive called the Black Vault. It's a massive collection of declassified government documents, files once marked top secret, now open to the public. These documents come straight from the CIA, FBI, and military agencies, and buried inside them are pages about Antarctica. Some reports talk about unidentified flying objects, silent, and unlike any aircraft humans have ever built, spotted over the icy continent. Radar systems picked them up, pilots reported them, but no one could explain them. These weren't shooting stars or weather balloons. They moved with intelligence. They disappeared without a trace. One document describes a craft seen rising straight out of the ice near the South Pole. Another mentions strange signals, radio frequencies that repeat like patterns, as if something deep under the ice is trying to communicate. These were logged, studied, and then covered in silence. Why Antarctica? That's the question. Why do so many sightings happen there, in the most isolated place on Earth? Some researchers believe the answer lies beneath the ice-hidden bases. Ancient ships, or crash sites frozen in time. And not just new events, but things that may have happened thousands of years ago. What if aliens didn't just visit? What if they stayed? In recent years, whistleblowers, former military officers, scientists, even pilots have come forward. They talk about technologies we don't understand. They describe craft that defy gravity, light that bends unnaturally, and places in Antarctica that no one is allowed to go near. These testimonies line up with the documents in the Black Vault. When different sources tell the same story, it's hard to ignore. Of course, skeptics say it's all just coincidence or imagination. But even the US government has now admitted, we don't know what these things are. And in 2020, they began releasing real footage of unidentified aerial phenomena. Antarctica may seem quiet, but beneath that silence, there are whispers. Whispers from the sky, and maybe from something far older than we can understand. What's calling from under the ice? And who, or what, is watching from above? Antarctica is full of strange mysteries, but some of the most unsettling ones can be seen with the eyes. They are felt through instruments, measured in silence, and sometimes avoided completely. Over the years, pilots flying over certain parts of Antarctica have reported something unusually sudden, unexplained disturbances in their aircraft's systems. Compasses spinning wildly, GPS going dark, altimeters giving false readings. In places where everything should be still, something is deeply off. These are called magnetic anomalies, areas where Earth's magnetic field behaves strangely. Scientists admit they exist, but no one fully understands why they're there, or what's beneath them. One of the most famous magnetic anomalies lies near Lake Vostok, the same place where a hidden lake and possible life forms were discovered. The disturbance here is massive. Satellites detect strange signals, and the Earth's magnetic field twists unnaturally. Some believe there's something huge buried beneath the ice, possibly metallic, possibly artificial. Then there are the no-fly zones. Yes, Antarctica, as empty and desolate as it seems, has areas where aircraft are not allowed to fly. Pilots who try to cross them are sometimes re-othered. Others report warning signals or silent interference before they're forced to turn back. Why would such places exist in a land of ice and rock? Governments say it's for safety reasons, stable weather, dangerous terrain, lack of emergency landing options. But experienced pilots say that doesn't explain it. These zones don't follow the logic of storms or geography. They seem selected, hidden, off limits for reasons no one will explain. And there's another question. If there's nothing there, why is the magnetic field reacting so violently? Why are machines affected, while the ice above remains quiet? Some researchers believe these anomalies point to massive underground structures, perhaps made of metal. Others say these could be entrances, caves, tunnels, even hidden facilities guarded by nature itself. And a few dare to believe they're covering up something not from this world. Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain: something under Antarctica is bending the rules of nature, pulling at magnetic fields, blinding instruments, forcing planes to stay away, as if it's trying to stay hidden, or trying to keep us out. The ice hides many things. But when even the Earth's own forces start to behave strangely, you know something deeper is waiting to be discovered. Not all secrets stay buried. Sometimes, they leak out not through official channels, but through the voices of those who can't stay silent anymore. Over the years, whistleblowers, people who once worked deep inside governments, militaries, and secret science programs, have stepped forward with chilling stories about Antarctica. These are not wild conspiracy theorists. Many are former soldiers, pilots, engineers, and researchers who held high-level security clearances. They speak with emotion, with fear, and with a sense of duty. One former Navy officer described a mission in the 1980s, where he was flown to a research station near the South Pole, but what he saw had nothing to do with science. He claimed they were monitoring a structure beneath the ice, something massive, metallic, and completely unnatural. He wasn't allowed to take pictures. He was told to forget what he saw, but he never did. Another scientist who worked in Antarctica on climate data later revealed that strange equipment was being used at certain sites. Gear he wasn't trained for, and wasn't allowed to touch. When he asked questions, he was told to stick to his job and avoid restricted zones. He later found out those areas were being guarded, not by researchers, but by armed personnel. Some testimonies describe underground tunnels miles long carved, not by machines, but by something else. The walls were too smooth, too perfect. Lights worked without wires. Sounds echoed strangely. One contractor who claimed to have gone below during a classified operation said it felt like the tunnels were breathing, as if the structure wasn't dead, but somehow alive. Then there are stories of encounters, brief flashes of movement, shadows in the snow, strange humming noises that made the body vibrate. One pilot reported a blinding light shooting out from a crack in the ice. By the time he circled back, it was gone. Another technician said he saw a figure, tall, thin, not wearing any gear, standing motionless, far out on the ice field, then vanishing. Most of these people stayed silent for years. Some only spoke out after retirement. Others broke their silence knowing they might face consequences. But they all say the same thing. Something is happening in Antarctica, and the public has no idea. They aren't trying to scare us. They're trying to warn us. And when so many different people, from different places, tell the same kind of story, maybe it's time we started listening. Antarctica is melting. Every year, the thick layers of ancient ice are shrinking, cracking, and breaking apart. Glaciers that stood untouched for millions of years are now sliding into the ocean. The world sees this as a sign of climate change. It is, but something else is happening too. As the ice melts, it reveals beneath the surface. Secrets long frozen in silence are beginning to show themselves. Strange rock formations, perfectly shaped structures, fossils of creatures no one can name, metallic objects reflecting light from a sun they haven't seen in thousands of years. What was once hidden is now rising to the surface, and the world can no longer look away. Researchers have started to report strange finds during their climate studies, things they weren't prepared to explain. Some have spoken quietly about ruins, pieces of walls, and tools that shouldn't exist in a place where no human has ever lived. One scientist described finding a pattern carved into stone too precise to be natural, but far too old to be modern. As more of Antarctica is uncovered, questions are growing louder. Were we the first intelligent life on Earth, or just the latest in a long-forgotten line? Governments are watching. Some areas that were once open to researchers are now suddenly restricted. Expeditions are being canceled or redirected. Satellites that once showed detailed images are now showing blurry patches where something important used to be. It's as if the more that melts, the more they want to cover, but they can't stop it. Nature is stronger than secrecy. The ice is retreating faster than ever before, and every year it peels back another layer of the past. We're not just losing glaciers, we're gaining forgotten history. And with every crack in the ice, the old world breathes again. For some, this is terrifying. What if we uncover something that changes everything we thought we knew? What if there's a reason these things were buried? But for others, it's a chance. A moment in time where truth and discovery are finally breaking through the lies, because the Earth remembers. And now, it's revealing its hidden chapters, one melting drop at a time. The question is, will we be ready for what comes next? Antarctica is not just about the past. It might be speaking to our future. For so long, we've seen it as nothing more than a frozen wasteland, a place with no cities, no people, no history. But slowly, piece by piece, that belief is falling apart. Ancient forests, giant creatures, strange objects. buried structures, lost technology, and whispers of life, both old and unknown. This frozen land has been trying to tell us something. Maybe it already has. What if Antarctica is more than just Earth's coldest continent? What if it's a mirror, showing us what came before and what might come again? Millions of years ago, Antarctica was warm, alive, filled with forests, animals, and possibly intelligent life. Then something changed. The climate shifted, darkness fell, ice took over, life disappeared. We still don't fully understand why. But what if that same pattern is beginning to repeat itself now? As we melt the ice with our own actions, climate change, pollution, greed, we're not just changing the planet, we're waking up its memories. And they aren't all beautiful. Antarctica teaches us that nothing lasts forever, not even the strongest civilizations, that nature can erase even the most advanced creations if balance is lost. It warns us that knowledge without wisdom, power without care, can lead to silence. Cold, endless silence. But it also gives us hope, because beneath the ice, life still exists. Ancient bacteria still breathe. Lost forests still sleep. Forgotten bones still hold stories. The planet is alive, watching, waiting. If we listen, if we learn from what lies beneath, maybe we can change our path. Maybe we don't have to repeat the same ending. Antarctica is no longer just a frozen continent. It's a voice, a guardian of lost truths, a warning written in ice. The real question isn't just what happened here, it's, will it happen again? And that answer depends on us. Antarctica isn't just about what's been buried, it's about what might rise again. For millions of years, this frozen land has kept its silence. It watched the world change. It held on to the bones of ancient creatures, the ruins of forgotten forests, and possibly even the secrets of civilizations that lived before us. And now, as the ice melts and those secrets come to the surface, one question grows louder. Is the past trying to warn us? Long ago, Antarctica was warm. It was alive. It had rivers, plants, and skies full of birds. Life was strong here. But then something happened. The warmth disappeared. The skies went dark. And slowly, the land was buried beneath ice. We don't fully know why. Some say it was nature's cycle. Others believe it was something more, a warning ignored, a mistake repeated, a rise followed by a fall. Now look at us. The world is heating up again. Glaciers are collapsing. Oceans are rising. The very balance that keeps Earth alive is being shaken by our own hands. And Antarctica, once again, is at the center of it all. As we dig deeper, we're not just finding fossils, we're seeing reflections. Signs of what was lost, signs of what could happen again. The abandoned structures, the dying forests, the forgotten creatures, they all tell the same story. Even the strongest things can vanish. But there's another side to this. Because even after millions of years in darkness, life still survives in Antarctica. Bacteria beneath glaciers, forests frozen in time, water flowing under the ice. That means there is hope. That even after great loss, the Earth can breathe again. If we listen, if we change. Antarctica isn't just a frozen warning. It's a chance to choose a different future. To learn from the silence, to respect what came before, and to protect what still remains. The past is not shouting, it's whispering. Through the melting glaciers, through the winds that never stop, through the strange things we keep finding, things we were never meant to forget. The choice is ours now. Will we repeat history, or finally learn from it? As we leave the icy edges of Antarctica behind, one truth remains clear. This continent is not empty. It's a frozen library, filled with stories that never made it into history books. Stories of ancient forests, unknown creatures, strange machines, buried ruins, and silent warnings carved in ice. We came searching for answers but found something more, a reflection of ourselves. The mysteries of Antarctica are not just about what we uncover beneath the ice. They're about what we choose to do with that knowledge. Will we protect this fragile world? Will we listen to the echoes of the past? Or will we let these secrets melt away, along with our chance to change? Antarctica doesn't shout, it waits. And now, the rest is up to us. If this journey moved you, made you think, or sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to subscribe. We have many more untold stories to share. From lost worlds to the edge of the universe, this is just the beginning. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and never stop searching.